So, hello everyone. My name is Sola Abulu. I'm the principal consultant of Sola Abulu and Associates, and we're a strategy and communications consulting and training firm dedicated to enabling businesses and brands to achieve their desired objectives through strategic communications, organizational effectiveness, and reputation risk management. So, today I'm going to do a video and I'm just calling it heart to heart conversations. And this is for communications professionals. So this is the title, I kid you not, is Dear Communications Professionals. I have no other title to call it. And by the way, there's a bit of noise. I'm hoping that it will cancel out, but if it shows out in the video, I hope you can still watch it anyways. So I just want to talk about it, sort of things like reflections because of the position I'm in as a consultant for firms and also training, people coming up in the profession, both early stage, mid career, and also late stage entry and leaders as well. I am in a position of I see different things and here I'm in different conversations. So some of my reflections from the conversations are as follows. So in terms of a sense of, because I see a lot of communications people reach out to me all the time and say, oh, I want to grow in the profession, what do I do, how do I grow? And I'm just like, I just feel led to share some of these things. So just whichever this makes sense to you, please just know that this is for you. So number one, purpose. If communications is what you really want to do, my honest advice is be bold about it and be passionate about it, focus on it, and be prepared to do whatever it will take. You have to be very committed to just really really following through regardless of whatever it is that you're going to face, and you will face some things across the road anyways. So purpose is very important, and I say this because I think that there are two types of people in the profession. There are the people who really, really want to be in the profession, and no matter what happens, they will be, whether they're paid or they're not paid, this is what they're going to do, and they made up their minds like that for life. And then there are people who it's situation, condition that brought them there. So I'm not speaking to the people. This is not a conversation. This is not a message for the people who is condition that brought you here, because this message is really not for you. This message is for those people who this is where they belong. They know that this is where they belong. You know what I mean? They would do this for free. So that's it. So yeah. So purpose is very important. And if you made up your mind that this is what you're going to do, then just go the whole hog. You know what I mean? And I know times are difficult for those of us in Nigeria, and I don't want us to dwell too much on that, because if you dwell on that, you will not do anything. You're not going to go anywhere. You know what I mean? And every life is cyclical. There are ups and downs. So what we do is we prepare. It's like when you're on a ship, you know, you prepare for or in a plane, you prepare for turbulence, and you prepare yourself that you're going to ride that turbulence. If not, you will not survive. You know what I mean? You have to prepare for it. Sometimes the turbulence doesn't come fine, but you have to be ready. Which is why they tell you fasten your seatbelt when you're in the seats. But when the turbulence comes, that's not the time to. Do you understand? Do you understand? So that's it. It's how do we get through? That's where we're concerned about at that point. So why did the turbulence happen? Was that's not necessary. So yeah. So the second thing is to learn. Number two, learn all you can while you can. This is very important. Again, I'm recording this as someone who has been in the profession for a while. And so I'm saying, because I can now look back 3 decades back and be like, oh my goodness, everything comes together. But when you are in it, you don't know, because to you, sometimes in fact, you feel like, am I even learning? Am I even growing? But throw yourself into every opportunity that comes your way, because I kid you not, I'm telling you, when I look at my career, I have been I did publications officer in my church. I did social media. When I was much younger, I've been a petroleum editor for a magazine. I have done PR for a fast moving consumer goods company in my early years. I later on went, worked for a major company, did different jobs, public relations, government relations, internal comms, PR, brand, comms manager. Everything is like my whole life has gone full circle. Everything has added up. Went for an MBA at some point. Everything that I have done since I turned, in fact, from I think from age 18, because even my university degree, everything has added up. The reason why for instance, now I'm very interested in politics, public sector communication, and all of that is because I studied international relations. I'm a student of political science. So no matter what, I am interested in what is going on in governance, even though I've not worked in government before. In fact, every work I've done has always been somehow adjacent with government, but not particularly in government. But there's nothing you will do. Do you understand? So My training continues to be relevant. It shines through even up till today. And that's what many of us do not realize. You are going through a period of apprenticeship. Everything adds up. So don't remove yourself. Whether it's true, it's good to earn money, but I'm telling you, whether you earn money now or not, if you focus on, you make sure you are learning through a process. So it's either you are gaining financially, you are gaining experience, or you are gaining money. What you cannot be doing is you're not gaining anything. If something is coming in somehow, impartation, knowledge, skills, expertise, or and cash, if it's only cash coming in, no knowledge, no skills, I'm sorry for you, because that cash cannot generate money for the future. Cash is for today. But when we're talking about investment in yourself for the future, then we're talking both cash, but knowledge, skills, and experience will be for the future. I am saying this because I have passed through the stages. I am now in my post-retirement, after paid employment life. And I can look back now and see how everything is adding up. Are you with me? Good. So learn all you can while you can, number 2. Number 3, network and join professional associations. Please don't make the same mistake that I did. I was very focused on my job. While I was working, I did not join professional associations. By now, I know if I've said this myself, I'll continue to say it so that you don't make the same mistake I did. If I had joined those associations when my mates were doing it rather than facing my work because I was earning a good salary, by now I know I would have been a certain level. Now it's impossible for me to enter that level. I'm not even going to bother myself trying anymore. I just agree that's it. But let me be a cautionary tale for you. Join now and go through the levels. Join the associations. Pay your membership dues. Do everything you're supposed to do. So that when the time comes, they can add that fellow to your name. It's important because it gives you credibility. Other professions do these things. The lawyers, the accountant, in PR and comms, unfortunately, particularly those of us in Nigeria, in other African countries, it's a bit better. But for those of us in Nigeria, we are really in a very funny situation because nothing is regulated. Certification is whether you like it or not. So it really puts us in a situation whereby you have to prove yourself individually. There is no institution that is helping to, certify you to say, this one is different from this one because the person has this or the person has gone through this, which other professions have. So when somebody comes out and wants to enter the HR profession, they know that the first thing they have to do is get their, what do they call it? There's this charter thing they do. And that's even in Nigeria, even marketing too. They have all these things. So we don't have it in public relations. We don't have it in Nigeria. So we have to work even harder. I'll leave it at that. Number 4, trust and credibility. So please, network, join professional association. Why do I say this? It leads to my 4th point, which is trust and credibility. One thing a lot of people don't know, in our profession, I think this plays out in other professions, but I think it's more in our profession. Because right now, I see a lot of people who want to hire communications people, PR people, but they don't want to make a mistake. So they will come to people like me or other people and say, please, can you recommend somebody? Now, the way it works is that communications is done differently in organizations differently. I don't know if you know this. If you're hearing it for the first time, then just know that this is how it is. In other words, every company has in some companies, they don't do internal communications at all. Some communications is only marketing communications. Some people, they are really doing the textbook corporate comms. If you can work in those kind of places and you're a corporate comms person, you will love it because they do internal, they do external. You will learn a lot. You will do, social media, media relations, PR. They do the entire gamut, but very few organizations, mostly the multinationals that do that. And then maybe I would say banks. Internal communications, I don't think is really strong in some of these companies. But I think the multinationals do very well. Like if you're working for the FMCGs that are multinationals, the Nestle's, the Cadbury's, the Unilevers, and then all others in that space, they really follow that spectrum. Some go more with campaigns and events PR, and then in some companies, they believe that comms people are just people who create calendar for them, organize parties. And I'm sorry, if you're a comms person and you come into role, the first thing you must do is make sure you disabuse them of that mindset and you make sure that let this secretary's office be organizing the parties. You know what I mean? Remove yourself from that party planner thing. Nobody's going to respect you if they see you as a party planner. In fact, that was one of the first things I did when I became communications manager in my former place of work then. So trust and credibility is important because it's going to open doors for you, because particularly when you get to like middle level hires, even in the early stage to some extent, because many companies have only one-man team working for them, which is really bad, but that's the way it is. But if then you are a one-man team, in a comms in an organization, whatever it is, they are going to be very careful about who that person is, because they know that if that person doesn't know what they are doing, then their whole comm strategy is not going to work. So I see that there's a lot of effort put into. I know companies who are supposed to have comms people, but they are being so cautious in their recruitment. So sometimes the recruitment is taking almost a year. They're still looking for. And another thing, I don't know if you guys know this, I know is most of the really good comms people, you can't hire them. The best comms people around are not available. That's what I found out. So most people are, if you're somebody that is available, and I'm saying this for people who are 10 years plus, it's a problem for employment, because let me know if you want. I won't say more than that because I don't want to be misunderstood. I don't know how I can explain this in a way, but if you want me to explain me, ask questions or DM me or whatever, I will explain. But all I'm just saying is that it's important that you're that kind of person that people will always recommend, to the point that you do not have a gap in your CV. There's something that you're doing. And so even if you're taking a career break or something, then that's a different thing. And then even if you're not working for somebody full time, you are doing things. People are calling you into projects, because the truth is, if your skills are there and they're visible, people will be calling you into things, because there are a lot of communications opportunities out there. I can tell you, the problem is, if you're not getting and you're not hearing it, is because it's not visible. You've not identified yourself out there as, I'm a communications person, this is what I can do, and this is why you can work with me. Again, if you disagree with me, please tell me in the comments, but I'm telling you what I have seen, because like I said, because of the work that I do as a consultant and also as a trainer. So I hear what happens on the business side. I also hear what happens on the development side. And I can see that there's a mismatch between the people looking and the people who are, the people who want to buy and the people who want to sell their services. And the person in the middle is the person that connects them. So if you are not connected, you're not visible for the connector to pick you out. And this is the thing. Many times when people ask me they want a comms person, they want a particular profile. So if you are not letting people know the gamut of what you can do, I will not recommend you, because I'm not going to recommend you because I've seen you in, like, even if I saw you did something PR somewhere, I won't recommend you for an internal comms role, or a role that is very strong in internal comms. If I've not seen you show any interest in internal comms, and I'm not seeing you write anything about internal comms, if all you do is events, then I can only recommend you for events. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's the way it works. And to show you how serious this is, I mean, I've had 2 cases whereby some people who featured on an SA&A, some of our webinars like this, they were later called in to do for a speaking opportunity. One was even asked to even be like, really like, a special guest influencer type thing for, an entity, a launch program of sorts, because they saw the person moderate a session. So they needed to see that person doing something before they were able to select. That's what happens in our profession. So you just having a nice CV that says you've done, and you have no social proof, it's not going to help you. So it's either you have the social proof online, or there are people who have seen you out there. Those people now become the people who can refer you. Trust and credibility. That's enough said on that, number 4. Now, number 5, everything comes together at the end. I've said this before already, which is that every little thing that you put in there. And to be honest, I mean, you see us as SA&A, even me and Sola Abulu at my stage, I put out a lot of content out there. Sometimes it's a lot of work, because I have real work to do. As in, I have real deadlines to meet. I have work to do on the training, on the courses. I have work to do on the consulting side, but I still put out a lot of content. Why? Because I recognize that that's investment in the future. And that if I rely only on what I have put in the past, which is what brought the customers of today, then what is going to bring the customers of the future? And by the way, even some of the work that we're doing now is just a fraction of what we can do. So if I don't put out more content, particularly fresh ones, to show people, because again, people want to, that you wrote something 5 years ago, doesn't mean people believe that you are still doing it now. They need to see you still being active in that space every single year, every single month, every single quarter, for them to know that you are still doing that. People will say, oh, well, I knew she used to, but I'm not sure if she hasn't been active. I don't know what's going on. That's really what happens. So that's why we have a strong online presence as both, Oh, where are you? I'm pointing to the wrong place. Yes, as SA and A. Yeah, there you go. Oh, no, no, you can see the it's messing with me now. As SA and A, this is really getting embarrassing. As SA and A, and both as Sola Abulu. So we don't laugh at me, please. So anyway, that's what we're doing, So because that's the only way that people know. In fact, at a point, the reason why we separated our consulting presence from training was because we saw that people were getting confused because we were posting a lot about our courses, trying to promote them. People felt that's all we do. Whereas no, we are consultants. The training is just an unintended consequence because we found out that there was such a knowledge gap and that there was the more we could train comms people so that first of all they can position themselves between organizations because it also helps us as consultants. Because sometimes I meet some people and you can tell that they don't even respect the profession. They don't even there's not much understanding of what we do. So I just realized that, and this I just God led me to really realize that we had to really build knowledge about the profession because the knowledge is just not there. The image that people have of PR is people just run around, organize parties for you, they put NILAD conferences, events, and all that. That's all they know. Calendars, diaries, parties, really. They, then some people maybe may understand some media element, but they do not understand the strategic side of what we do, how we help a brand position itself, how we can help a brand enter a market, develop a presence, launch, support new market entry through messaging, through advocacy, really, really helping a brand or even change the narrative from from a point A to point B and move people, move public opinion, move sentiment, help mitigate a crisis, create opportunities, all of that. Communications can and does do that. Only a few people understand that. In fact, funny enough, the people that know this are the politicians, but they tend to use it in a very negative way because they are very good. They understand the importance of owning the narrative, controlling the narrative, but they use it in a negative way. And not every business person understands this as well. Some people do, multinationals do, like I said, not many people don't. Public sector, it varies, depends on the leader. If you have a leader that understands the use, same thing with business, really. The business leaders that understand it use it. Those that don't, they just feel, no, I don't want to, and then they'll be wondering why everybody is talking about their competitor. They are doing more than the competitor, but the credit, the competitor does any small thing and everybody's making noise about it, whereas you have done so much more, nobody's talking about you. And now, so anyway, that's that. So everything comes together at the end. So what you don't do, your actions or your inactions of today are going to determine your future. So don't spend too much time about what you have or what you don't have. Just focus on what is within your control, which is building your credibility, showing up online for yourself, volunteering for things that you think you have interest in, and just positioning yourself for those opportunities that will come. So, which brings it to number 6, which is preparation ahead of opportunity. Preparation ahead of opportunity involves everything that I've talked about. So, whether it's posting, whether it's attending events, whether it's volunteering for your network associations, if it's the Comms Avenue, join the Comms Avenue. If it's IABC, you join IAB, International Association of Business Communicators. If it's CIPR, join them. Any professional network, if it's NIPR, join and be active. Because, and most importantly, build your skills. Train and learn ahead. I always hear people saying, I heard one of my mentees once said, she said, that whenever she has interviews and everything, she has to confess whenever they ask her a question about crisis management, she has to tell them that she doesn't have crisis management expertise and all of that. And in my mind, I was like, but even if you don't have crisis management expertise, at least enroll for a crisis management course so that people can then bridge for you, because nobody expects you to have crisis management expertise if you have not had. You cannot manufacture a crisis for yourself. But what is not acceptable is that you have not even tried to get trained. So you should be able to know. You should be able to say, I have been trained, which demonstrates interest. And then you should be able to say that, this is what you learned. And that if they ask you a question about a crisis, you may say, even though I haven't done this before, this is what we learned in a crisis management training. You can also then reference things that you saw other competitors in their industry or sector do. Provide that analysis. They know that this person knows what the person is doing, because crisis management, at the end of the day, is about critical thinking and problem solving. But if you don't even have a framework for thinking about what you're supposed to do, what you should not have done, then really, who wants to know? So crisis management is a place that, in fact, is one of these expertise areas in comms that you cannot at all is nine bad pass. As in, you don't have experience in crisis management. You also don't have training. You don't have anything. Then of what use are you in today's world where anything can come at any time? Anyway, so prepare ahead of opportunity. If you are waiting for when your organization will train you, is it the people that have not even trained you on strategic communications, that have not trained you on brand strategy, that will train you on issues and crisis management? Are you limiting your growth, your personal career, your development, your future to the limitations of what your organization can prepare for you? One of the best decisions that God led me to make in the year 2025 was to register for an MBA with Lagos Business School. I had a very good job. I was working for a multinational firm and I was earning lots of money. But it dawned on me at that point, they were doing several restructurings and asking people to leave and all that. Even though I was not at risk in any way, but I became just dawned on me that if I lose this job for any reason or I have to leave earlier than planned, where will I go? Who will employ me? How can I even market myself? By that time, Nigeria was not even like this. There was no internet. Well, there was internet, but no social media. A lot of, banks were the only people hiring, and they were only hiring people with economics or accounting degrees. So comms, public relations, very few people were using our skills at all. So I just realized that I had to go out and get some. So I had to go and enroll for an MBA, which is for as a comms person. But I just realized that when I heard there was a general management degree, I said there's no point in my going to go and do masters in communications. I've already done a lot in comms. Let me just get a general management degree. And what that then did was for me, it made me begin to have the mindset of a business leader. And that has helped me up till today. In fact, as a communications consultant, that's why I can get into a room and talk to business leaders and they will listen to me because I understand how to manage business. I have an MBA, I have a business degree, the same MBA that many of them have. I have it. So that really helps me. But I can now use that MBA in the context of comms because comms again supports business. So you have to understand the business language. I'm not saying go and get an MBA, but I'm saying you have to get something. So preparation ahead of opportunity. Number 7, nothing beats experience. I will tell you that nothing beats it. Till today, to the glory of God, I am riding on the back of experience. Not just the experience that I had, experience I have as a student in Nigeria, experience I had as a young graduate, experience that I had working through the ranks. Everything is adding up. When I talk to young graduates today, because I too have been a graduate trainee, I know what it's like. If I'm speaking to communications managers, I've been comms manager too. So I'll say I know, I've been there. Do you understand what I'm saying? I am able to, when things happen, I will interpret it for them. Don't worry, this is what's going on. Let me just tell you. Do you understand? It has happened to me. I've been there. There's nothing like it. Nothing beats experience. So, in as much as I know in this world, everybody wants to move very fast now, and it's okay to move fast. But I'm telling you, at the end of the day, if you have only 7 years experience, you will always present as 7 years experience. You can be smart, you can be intelligent. I see this all the time. I meet a lot of intelligent people. The lack of experience shows sometimes in just certain things. Just like when I meet very experienced leaders, I can tell. They may not even be so, well known, or maybe not even, you may not see them as, they're the most intelligent, but with that experience, oh Lord, you have to bow at the end of the day because they've seen things, they've gone through things. They are not quick to react because, and they are very muted in their response. And at the end of the day, you now realize, this was why this person, that thing that you were quick to get agitated about, this person did not get agitated and they were able to manage it better. So, and all of that becomes important as you go also in the career. So number 8, I think I'll rest it here. Differentiate yourself. This is very important in our sector. Like I had said, part of differentiation, it can be many things. You can differentiate yourself with your knowledge, you can differentiate yourself with your skills, you can differentiate yourself with the results that you bring to the work that you do. You can also differentiate yourself with courage and authenticity. Not everybody can do that, but if you're one of those people that can do it, do it. Differentiate yourself with assertiveness, with project management, how you manage projects. But what you cannot be is be indistinguishable in the crowd. Remember what I said about it is the person that is top of mind, that is visible, that we will recommend. The person that will not just visible for the sake of being visible, but you are visible in a particular area. We're able to see this person can manage projects, she volunteers well for things, she handles things well. How many people are going to give you an opportunity to try out for something? Even in football, they call you for tryouts because they've seen you play. Nobody's going to call you to come and try out when they've not seen you play, because nobody has time to waste. It's a serious thing. So the beauty of social media, in our own time, there was no way to showcase your skills. But beauty of social media now is that you can show your skills just by being present. If you attend a conference, take a picture of yourself in the conference, summarize what they said in the conference. It doesn't mean you don't have to have been a speaker, but the fact that you went already tells us a story about you and how serious you are about this profession. And I'm not saying be all over the place, but I'm saying presence, relevance, be visible enough for people to know who you are, what you want, what you believe in, what you can do, and the value that you can bring. This is a heart-to-heart conversation. Please let me know if this has been useful for you. Thank you very much for listening. Like and share, follow us on our social media handles, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you so much for listening and for watching.